I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart, you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. I tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair never will go so well. Why should I try to resist when maybe I know it so well? I've got you under my skin. I sacrifice and
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, how about we keep that applause going as we welcome our host. Please put your hands together for Phil Cozy.
Thank you. We have, it's really, it's hard to believe that, and if I had $1 for every time that somebody said, I can't believe it's 20 years, we would have raised a lot of money. So, if everyone could just find a seat. We have so much going on tonight, this the 20th year, that I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking, and we're going to just get right to it. Yeah, you're welcome back there, Brian Banda. Just a couple of quick introductions. We have where is the Carteret Elementary School? Here for the first time. Where are they? Carteret Elementary from Bloomfield. They came because they have a colleague that was diagnosed with ALS and they wanted to support. So we are happy that they're here. And we want you to know that we are here to help your colleague, whatever she needs, whenever she needs help. That's why we're here. So please keep that in mind. At that same table, Ed Randall, New York sports and radio personality. Ed, thank you for coming. Bobby Cruz here? Bobby Cruz here? We thought we had Bobby Cruz, 3-time champ, 3 different weight classes. Jerry, you never had 3 different weight classes. Is Bo Nickel here? Where's Bo Nickel? Bo Nickel, 3-time national wrestling champion, Penn State. Also, he is 5-0 in the UFC. First time here, Bo, thank you for coming. Okay, Jerry, it's your turn, Jerry Cooney. You know, he's been here just about every year. He likes the food, that's why he comes back. #1 ranked contender in the world. You know, he was 28-3, 24 by knockout. We have for the first time here, Rick DiPietro. You remember Rick? #1 draft pick, #1 overall for the New York Islanders. He was also only the 4th in history American to be drafted #1. Rick, we're happy that you're here. We also have, he was here last year, my cousin's son, Vito Melnicki. Vito, 17-1, 12 by knockout, ranked 6th in the world, and he's just getting started. Just signed a big deal to fight on Amazon Prime. So last year we wanted to do this, and let me just introduce, most of you know her, Tina Servazio. When she first started her career, she was on the wrong side of the ball because she worked for Nesson and the Boston Red Sox.
I have a World Series ring because of that team.
Yes, yeah.
It says Servazio on it.
But then she turned it around. She worked for MSG with the Knicks. She became the sideline reporter for Big Ten college football. Now she is the lead sports anchor for Fox 5. She is in the Nutley Hall of Fame. And if her resume isn't large enough, her best accomplishment, because she's a Nutley girl, her best accomplishment is both of her parents are Belleville people. You know that, Joe and Maria Servazio. So Tina just is going to have a couple quick questions for Jerry, for Rick, and for Vito.
I know, Phil's put me to work, so we knew I was coming. He's like, I'm going to make you interview some of our guests. So, Jerry, what's going on? The Knicks are playing tonight. You're usually at a Knicks game.
Hey, there's only one place to be tonight, and that's here.
Well, you support the Robert Luongo dinner and Phil Cuzzy every year. Why?
Because I love these guys, and, we're helping people have an easier go at it. You know what I mean? And that's what we do. It's not like we do that. We do that because that's what we're supposed to do. And I love every second of it. I love all the people. Most of them anyway, except for him. But I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. We love your support. So now Rick works the mornings on 98.7 ESPN radio. So I work mornings too, Rick. So what time do you go to bed?
I go to bed around 9 o'clock.
What time do you wake up?
2:30.
So this is really messed up for both of us tonight.
It is, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I get to meet, Jerry already punched me in the ribs. I think I might have broke a rib tonight, which is fine, but it's worth it. I'm here with Gary and enjoying the night.
What's going on with the Islanders? I mean, they're wearing Sorokin out and Varlamov is hurt. What's going on?
Oh, come on. See, you can put me. What's going on with the Islanders? Listen, the hockey teams are good. I mean, the Islanders are, they're starting to figure it out a little bit. Sorokin's one of the best goalies in the league. Rangers are, right there to win the division, so everything's going good with the hockey.
All right, we're going to be listening. You got to listen to Rick in the morning. 6 a.m. you guys start?
6 a.m.
6 a.m. You'll get all your hockey analysis. He's also on ESPN TV. Now, my next guest over here, I'm going to refer to him as Young Vito because you know you're old when you went to high school with a professional boxer's dad, and I cheered for Vito Sr. I won't call you old Vito. So we went to high school together. Vito, how are you? Congratulations on everything you're doing.
Thank you. It's great to be a part of an event like this. Obviously, great to have this kind of turnout for an event like this for my cousin Phil and the foundation. So just be a part of something like this is great. But I'm doing good. I'm training, ready to get back in the ring probably March or April. So.
You just had a big fight December 29th at the Prudential Center. You won by TKO in the first round. So what's your training schedule look like getting ready for a fight?
It varies. Obviously, training camp is a lot different than just when I'm out training, just regular, keeping my body in shape. But mostly 2 a days, 3 a days, just getting ready to go to, war, basically, in a sense. So getting the body mentally, physically prepared for anything that happens come fight night.
So can you eat Nanina's incredible food?
You can. You could eat just the right food. So, I've been doing it since I'm 7 years old. I love it. This is what I love to do. It's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. So.
I already booked you for my show with your father. So, yes, you heard.
I heard. I'm ready. I'm excited and ready to get on the show.
So before you head back to training in Houston, I'll let everybody know in the area, we're going to have Vito Jr. on Sports Extra one Sunday night in the next couple of weeks. So thank you.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
Do we have one more person?
Well, we have a very special person as well. But let me just make one correction before we get to that.
I'm going to sit here for 2 seconds.
And it was really Bobby Ches. Where's Bobby Ches? I said Cruz. you've been hit in the head so many times, I want to just make sure that you didn't stand up with the wrong name. So Bobby Ches is here, 3-time champ, 3 different weight classes. I'm sorry, Bobby. Bobby Ches. Not that all of our guests are not special, but we do have a very, very special guest that's here. Michael, a lot of you seen him walking around. Michael Imperiali. First time here. Many of you, most of you know him, of course, from The Sopranos. But in addition to that, and he films so much of it in Belleville, so he feels like he's almost home. But Sopranos aside, he has over 60 movies that he appeared in, over 40 television shows. He's an Emmy Award winner. He's a 3-time Screen Actors Guild Award winner. And he's opening on Broadway in February in a play called An Enemy of the People. Michael, we're very happy to have you here. Tina.
Hey, Michael. Good to see you. I met you a couple months ago actually it was last year, Good Day New York, and I gave your book to my dad as a gift.
That's right. Early in the morning.
Yeah, early in the morning. Again. So tell us about Enemy of the People. How are you preparing for your Broadway debut, and how's that different from all the other projects you've done?
It's different because there'll be 850 people in the room while you're performing, and there's no cut, take 2. You know, you have to. If you mess up, you got to figure it out and pretend you didn't. But we start rehearsals on Monday, so I'm just learning all my lines and getting ready. And yeah, haven't been on stage in a while, so it's exciting.
Good luck with that. And just what kind of memories, when you come back into this area, do you have from all the filming that you did in Belleville and Newark?
Oh yeah, this was like our second home. I mean, Belleville was. There was a lot of funerals in Belleville.
Free passes here.
No, the funeral parlor that all the funerals are in. Cosarelli it's nearby here, right? How far is it from here? It's like right over here, so.
Well, it's great to have you back. You entertained us and made us proud to be New Jersey and Italian American.
We love New Jersey.
Thank you, Michael. A lot of you have perhaps recognized a family that's here. I know you've maybe seen them at some of the games. It is the DeVito family. We have Tom Sr., his wife Lexi, their son Max, and I understand that he told me that he had a gift to donate for the charity, and I was very proud and surprised, but what do you think it is?
Bought a nice jersey for you, Tommy's jersey, signed for you. To help raise some money, we're proud to be here. Tommy signed this for you.
I don't see it signed, Tom.
Come on. Are you serious?
First of all, you told me...
I'll get him here right now.
No.
Seriously.
Come on.
Let me call.
Tell him to bring a pen.
Are you kidding me? You didn't sign this thing? How soon could you be here? Let's go. We got cutlets for you. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tommy DeVito. So you'll sign it? Okay. We're going to hear from Tommy and from Tina a little bit later. So sit down, we'll bring you some cutlets and enjoy your dinner. So we said we had a couple of mystery guests. The nice thing is that you guys have seen it before, where sometimes the mystery guest doesn't arrive until 9 o'clock when they're going to speak. Both of these mystery guests wanted to come be a part of the evening. enjoy dinner. So I'm glad that they came. So, you know, Bob Costas usually introduces our others. So we will going to show, and it's a little bit blurry, I think, but we're going to show you the next mystery guest as introduced by Bob Costas. Here's the other DeVito brother, Max.
No, at just about this point in the proceedings, Bill Cuzzy decides to bring out his mystery guest. And it's my job, either in person or in this case by video, to introduce the person with a series of clues that proceed from the most difficult to get it right away to the most obvious. And I know that at about the midway point of this, people will be yelling out correctly the name of the mystery guest. But since I can't hear you, I will proceed all the way to the end. Okay, this guy had a lifetime batting average of 155 and never hit a major league home run. Despite that, he played for 5 different teams and was a 5-time world champion and 5-time All-Star. He twice won 20 games and twice led his league in strikeouts. In fact, he once had a 19 strikeout game. He excelled for both the Yankees and the Mets and was 8-3 in postseason play, including 2-0 in the World Series. And as we all know, none of us are perfect, as witnessed the 2 choices before us in the presidential race. None of us are perfect. But for one day, this guy was perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, David Cohn.
David, I told you that they would love you. It's umpires they don't like. Okay, so we kind of switched things up a little bit just to kind of get a nice flavor going for the 20th year. And but now we're gonna, as we always did prior to dinner, is we get a little ALS business out of the way. So the first person that I would like to bring up is Bill Volker. You've seen him here before. He came a couple of times. And he's going to just say a couple of words, and he's going to introduce a video that was made.
Thank you. Let me get on my stand.
Oh, okay.
You know, I love you guys. You have no idea how much. Thank you so much, okay? All right. First of all, like I do every time I come here, I want to thank the ownership and the staff here. They are first-class professionals. Always treat us like we're members of the family, and they always make sure that we're very comfortable when we come here. So thank you very, very much to everybody here. So I'm a retired town planner. That's what I did for 40 years in Connecticut, and my experience has given me perspective and gives me a sense of every community that I come into. What we've talked about before is that this terrible disease called ALS, there's not very many people who have it, and it's very, very difficult to attract sufficient funds to fight it back and also to meet the needs of the people who suffer from this. But the really good part about it is that once a year I get to brag that I'm a resident of Belleville, New Jersey. I get to be a citizen of this community when I come here, and I love that, okay? And what's really, really important about that is I get to interact with the Fighting 73, which, right? Yes, okay? I get, yes, upon whose backs much of this effort is supported by, okay? And who took great inspiration from Robert Luongo, who, if he was here with us tonight, I'm sure he would insist that we make it bigger, that we take it bigger, that we do more and more that we can. We're close. We get closer every year to fighting ALS. We get closer every year because of the support that we get from this community. and that's essential to this. It's absolutely important that every year we step up, we do what we can. Phil provides for the needs of people in this community, and we also donate for the research that's absolutely essential to this. And we know that one of the reasons we know about ALS is because the late, great Lou Gehrig had it and has carried forth in his memory this fight. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I just wanted to thank you for enabling me to be part of this community, the strength of this community that carries this effort forward on the backs of the Fighting 73. With that, we're going to introduce a video. You're going to see how some of the people from the Fighting 73 remember Robert Luongo, upon whose inspiration we would keep carrying this forward and make it bigger every year. Thank you.
You may have heard the expression, you don't pick charity, it picks you. And when Robert Luongo told me that he was diagnosed with ALS, the first thing he said to me was, "I've just been handed a death sentence." The last thing I said to Robert before he died was that he'd never have to worry about his then 9-year-old daughter, Dominique's education. I said, "Rob, I will tap the baseball community and our hometown community, and we will raise enough money to send Dominique to whatever school she wants to go." And from a very young age, she decided that she wanted to follow in her father's footsteps, and lo and behold, Dominique is a Harvard graduate and now at Harvard Law. So that's really how it began. And every year when people come to the dinner, like, they're happy to be there, but I'm even more happy that they continue to come. And I thank them all the time. Thanks for coming, and I appreciate that you're coming, and I appreciate your support. And that's the biggest thing, is just the support of, people like yourself who I didn't even know up until 2 years ago. And that's really how it all comes together and stays together.
And like Phil said that day when we talked, let's do something that we'll never forget Robert Luongo. Here we are, and we will never forget him.
Well, the Robert Luongo event is an event that we all here at Nanina's look forward to, not only for the mystery guests that Mr. Kazi always keeps in a hush until the very last minute, but also for the fact that he's doing something for the community here in Belleville, Nutley, and the surrounding towns.
It's been wonderful to see her grow up. It's been, a blessing to be able to help further her education, the promise that Phil made to Robert way back when.
The same people Phil went to school with. There are a lot of people that are here tonight, and it's really great that a bunch of great people stay together like that and unite for a cause like this.
He takes care of people who have needs, but he also donates money for ALS research.
When I get here and I see what it does, and I see what it does for the people, it really warms my heart. It makes me really happy that we do it.
No, it's a testament to the people of Belleville and his friends that come and support the cause and Robert.
What we see on that night is Belleville true and true. It's, 600, we kid around, we say 600 of our closest friends.
Everyone there bleeds blue and gold. So it's one big family, one big community.
It's like getting season tickets for the Giants. You can't get a table. I've had people call me, "Hey, you can't get me a table? I can't even get you a seat."
The people that have provided and the willingness to give, as everybody has done over the years, I think that's probably the greatest thought that comes to my mind.
We all wish Robert was here, but Robert's spirit is why basically we're kind of still all together like this.
So I think Robert would just be very, very proud of what we've accomplished, what Phil's accomplished.
For me, aside from honoring Robert and his memory and Dominique, it's about doing everything that I can possibly do, because nobody should have to live like that.
We've collected a lot of money through Phil and his crowd of people that we hope we are closer to solve a problem, because no one needs to go through what Robert went through. I only hope at some point soon, they do something with ALS, because this is a terrible disease, and it took a very close friend of mine.
And then, once again, Robert is what brings you back. being able to support the ALS fund is what brings you back.
And Robert would say to us, keep doing it for the people you're helping. Keep doing it to spread the word about the ALS and keep helping those people.
My wife, Paulette, had ALS. We battled it for 8 years. And this great dinner is for the families that have gone through this emotional, physical, spiritual battle with ALS. I can't begin to thank you enough for people that have given from their hearts for a night like tonight. And God bless you all.
If he saw this event, he would look down and say, I love you guys. I love you and thank you.
He still to this day is doing good by us remembering him and gathering once a year to celebrate his life as well as to further the work that needs to be done to cure this terrible disease.
I didn't think the Fighting 73s had it in them to be so sentimental about it, but it's near to all of our hearts. You know, just a quick thing about the video, because you've seen a couple, and we're going to see a couple more as the night goes on, but interesting story. The guy that makes those videos, he comes down from Connecticut, and he came down to do this. And in years past, I went up to, and he made a promotional video. He loves to do it. He's really on board. And where is Clem? Clem Kinsinkus. Where is he, Clem? Here he is, right here. Clem, thank you. Excellent, excellent work. We have, you guys may remember, he just retired, Jerry Meals. If you remember a couple years ago, his mother had ALS, and she passed away from ALS. And we helped his mother, and Jerry just wanted to briefly thank this group for what we've done for his mother. Jerry?
Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming out like you always do and supporting this great cause. Phil has been doing this, of course, for the last 20 years and has brought light to just a terrible disease, and like he said, it touched me and my family the same way that it touched him. I was fortunate enough in 2000, when Phil and I had rented a condo together to work spring training, that Robert came by, along with another friend, Dap, and sat around, talked, played bocce. So I was able to meet Robert and then break bread in his own home. He invited us over for dinner one evening, and then fast forward 2007, my mother came down with ALS, and the good Lord took her. But Phil was there for my family. He offered help with anything that we needed, and my sisters were the ones who were taking care of everything since I was on the road, and he helped them immensely, and that's what this is all about. And you know, I just can't thank Phil and Gilda, all his family and his friends that put this on, the people here at Nanina's. It's just a wonderful cause, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. How's retirement? All right. Before we get to Lance, we do have one more surprise, and Tina, you're going to help us with this one as well. So we never know who's going to walk through the door, but he's been here before, and he likes to keep coming back, and he does. Doc Gooden. Doc, come on over. No, Doc, come up here for a second.
Let these two teammates say hello. So Doc, yesterday, so I just want to give a little background. Yesterday, the New York Mets held this big Zoom press conference for Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry because their numbers are going to be retired this year. Sunday, April 14th, number 16 will be retired from the New York Mets forever. No one will wear your number again because of you. It was an emotional day for you yesterday talking about it. If you could just tell everyone here what that means to you to see that number 16 retired by the Mets.
Thank you. First of all, thank you guys for having me. This is a great charity event. I'm happy to be here. April 14th would be very special for myself. Having my number retired is one of the greatest honors a team can do for you. But, and not to just blow smoke and say it's because you guys are here, but none of that would be possible without the support and excitement and the energy you guys brought to Shea Stadium. Second to none, and I appreciate you guys so much from that. And not to bore you guys too much, but I'm gonna tell you guys a little journey what makes this even more special. So in '95, the Mets wanted to cut ties, which I understood. I had got suspended from baseball, but Mr. Steinbrenner gave me an opportunity to continue my career in New York. But my whole thing was I wanted to make it right. I wanted to make it right with the Met fans. I didn't want to go out that way. So played the Yankees 96, 97. After 97, my representation called the Mets. I think Steve Phillips, the general manager. And not to get on Steve or anything like that. We asked, could I come back? They said there wasn't any room. We wish you the best. I went to Cleveland for 2 years, 98 and 99. After the 99 season, I called the Mets again. Got the same story, there's no room. We wish you the best. 2000, I signed with the Houston Astros. Had 1 start. Got traded to Tampa, had 8 starts, got released. I called the Mets again. I said, I'll go to AAA, I'll do whatever it takes. I just wanted to finish my career as a Met. They said, we wish you the best, there's no room. I signed back with the Yankees, finished the season with the Yankees. I called the Mets after 2000, wanted to sign a 1-day contract and retire. I was told no. But now with the new ownership, everything comes full circle. And now when my number goes up in the rafters, I want you guys to feel, thank you. I want all you guys to feel when you're at the stadium, whether you got your kids, your grandkids, what have you, let them know that you guys played a big part of Doc Gooden number being retired because that's the truth and that comes from my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. We're going to just quickly get back to the ALS business and have Lance Slaughter come up, just say a few words. He is from, he's been here many times before. He's from the National ALS Association in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Phil, I got to ask you to stay with me then. Okay. Hi, everybody. Happy 2024. Phil, I need you to step forward because this is really going to be about you. My couple of minutes are going to be about celebration.
That wasn't the deal about me.
I know, but we're going to do this. Celebration and appreciation. So first, I want to start with Robert. You and I were on the call this week, and I said, number one, thank you, Phil, for allowing me to participate in this party that you hold every year of 600 of your closest friends. So I appreciate that. And I also shared with Phil that although I did not have the honor and the pleasure of knowing Robert, it's through this dinner and through those remembering Robert moments that take place as part of this program that I feel like I know him. And so I appreciate and thank all of you who have shared your stories about Robert and letting me be a part of this community in that way. So that's the celebration part. The fact that you've been doing this, Phil, for 20 years, and this event is thriving with all of your support is unusual and remarkable, and it's really a testament about this community. So again, congratulations. And then finally, please give Phil a round of applause. We'll do this all night. This is a special night. And on behalf of our organization, and if I may be so bold, the ALS community, thank you for what you've grown this into. One, I know that it was in support of Dominique, and that was a mission accomplished. But there's another mission that you took on, which is finding cures for ALS. And you've made a remarkable commitment to that over the years. But I also want to thank you for the support that you provided to the ALS community. We've heard the stories each year about how you've expanded your work in the ALS community, and not just about dollars for research, but dollars to support families that are living with this disease. And so this is a very heavy but small token of our appreciation. I share with Phil that he is legend within the ALS Association, but we did want to present this to you on your 20th year, which is presented to Phil Cuzzy in celebration of the 20th annual Robert Luongo ALS Fund Gala, and with great appreciation of your dedication to find cures for ALS. There you go. Thank you, Lance. Thank you.
This is for all of you, because it doesn't happen without you. Same people every single year. This is as much yours as it is mine, so I thank you all. Lance, I also have something for you. Lance, on behalf of everyone in this room, I'm going to present to you, to the ALS Association, and we can figure out where best to use it, because you know we like to see what, we always just didn't want to give it to research. We wanted to specifically, what programs do you have that's really making some headway? I want to put the money there. Let's do that with this check for $30,000.
Thank you. All of you, thank you.
Okay, we're going to eat soon, but really. So, if you remember last year, we had one of our Belleville guys, Gary Massatelli. Where's the Massatellis? They're in the back, right? Yes, Gary. Today, this year, he brought his brother Gary. Where's Gary? Oh, Frank. I'm sorry. Guys, remain standing. If you remember, we talked about Gary last year, and Frank started out in the infantry in Vietnam. He was wounded by a hand grenade. He was knocked unconscious, and he was left for dead. They thought he was dead, and they left him. When he came to, he was so, as you could imagine, annoyed that they would leave him. But he thought deeper, and he said, you know, it's the organization of the infantry, that's the problem. And he decided that for his last 6 months, he was going to volunteer for the Navy Ranger, the Army Rangers. And he also told his brother, if you're going to go back as a Ranger, because it's much more organized. You go out in platoons of 5. No one's leaving you with just 5 guys. And that's exactly what they did. They both joined the Army Rangers, and between the two of them, and we were very fortunate, Gary was very fortunate, because while he was making up his mind and when he had the opportunity to volunteer to the Rangers, he was on hold for Hamburger Hill. And for those that remember Hamburger Hill, most of the guys didn't come back, right, Gary? And we're glad that you didn't go there, but we're glad that you're here. So between... Between the two brothers, they both were in special forces. They combined for 11 medals, and they both are recipients of the Purple Heart. And the best part is they're Belleville High School graduates. Gary was in 66 and 66 and 67, the other way around, right? Gary in 67, Frank in 66. We thank you. And you know what? I remember Joe Black said to me, yeah, I remember growing up, they were older than us. We looked at them as heroes, and you are heroes. All veterans, other veterans, please stand up, be recognized. Veterans. Police officers, police and firemen, please stand up. Firemen, first responders, please stand. Now, if everybody would please stand, we have Vinnie Tortorello, grew up on Crescent Terrace, fighting 73. He's the one who started bringing the moon blowers 20 years ago, and aren't they great? They're a high school band. Vinnie Tortorello was the director of that, and I used to walk to number 3 school with him, and he used to carry his clarinet. Now, Vinnie, you made it to Nanina's carrying a saxophone.
I always wanted the standing ovation, so this is great.
Thank you, Vinnie. Excellent. He was a Grammy Award nominee. Yes. Right, very excellent. 2 people that I left out at my table. Of course, the beloved Yogi Berra. Larry Berra, Yogi's son. And he brought his daughter, Lindsay Berra. And if you've seen the Yogi Berra story, Lindsay is responsible for that. So excellent job with that, and we're glad that you came. Larry, we're always happy that you came. We're just about ready to eat. I want to bring up Father for the invocation.
Wait, Phil, 1 sec. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to introduce Phil Augusta for a second. He's got a presentation.
Okay, 20 years. They said it wouldn't last, but they were wrong, I guess. He's not aware of this. It's been a work in progress. I'm going to not give you my speech here because you've heard pretty much everything in the last 20 years about this man. But I want to call up 3 dignitaries that are here today that Phil wasn't aware that they were going to be coming up here. Deputy Mayor Vin Cosarelli from Belleville. Councilman Steve Rovell. And Councilman Tom Graziano. They have a few words to say. Steve?
You can stand here, Phil. I have to put on my glasses real quick. So I have a bit of Robert trivia. So I met Robert in Belleville High School in 1971. We both served in the Key Club and eventually the Student Council's Executive Council. However, one of my most memorable conversations with Robert was later on when we graduated from Harvard, was managing a bar. We were in Alan DeMacy's shop getting a haircut. Does anybody remember James Bond and the James Bond DB5? Because Robert was putting together a bunch of investors who were trying to buy one of the James Bond Aston Martins. That's a DB5, which among other things had a .30 caliber machine guns mounted in the front fenders, an ejector seat, all that cool stuff, right? So there was one from 64, which was in Goldfinger, and one from 65, which was in Thunderball. I believe they were talking about raising somewhere in the neighborhoods of about $1 million at the time. So a quick update. One of the original cars was stolen from a secure hangar at Boca Raton Airport in Florida in 1997. Detectives have in all that time never been able to locate or figure out where it went. In January of 2022, the experts at Recovery International say they have the confirmation that that DB5, which we believe is the 64, is in a private setting in the Middle East. Estimated value, $24 million. I believe the other one was owned by Sean Connery, and I think that's the one Robert was trying to get. In 2019, that Aston Martin DB5 that was the one used in Thunderball, sold at auction by the estate of Sean Connery for $6.4 million, worth a lot more today, as we know. Not a bad investment. Robert was always looking for a deal. In 2020, Aston Martin actually began delivering 24 new reissued. They sold these things for $4.5 million apiece. There's 24 of them out there. I actually had a chance to see this 1965 James Bond Aston Martin when my mother took us to the New York World's Fair. I mentioned my mother here because she and Phil Cuzzy's mom were friends at Holy Family. Wait. Both of them were very involved in the church, the Sodality, and the Rosary Society. They were both very faithful women who lived their Christianity on a daily basis. They believed in service above self. There is no doubt Phil has followed in his mom's footsteps. His service to ALS patients, friends, family, Major League Baseball, and to Belleville has been beyond extraordinary. Belleville's mayor and council want to recognize him tonight for that extraordinary service and for bringing pride back to Belleville. Thank you for all your hard work, your commitment to service, Phil. God bless you. Now, I want to introduce Deputy Mayor Vincent Cozzarelli.
Thank you, Steve. We would not be here tonight if it wasn't for Phil and all his hard work. So to acknowledge him, the Mayor and Council of Belleville have a proclamation, and I have the distinct honor of reading and presenting it to you tonight, Phil. Whereas Phil Cuzzy is a Belleville High School graduate, class of 1973, and a proud member and founder of the Fighting 73s. After high school, Phil attended Glassboro State College, now known as Rowan University, where he pursued a degree in education. Phil's aspiration to be a Major League Baseball umpire was reached in the summer of 1999 when he was offered a full-time job in the big leagues. Phil was given some horrible news that his best friend, Robert Luongo, had been diagnosed with ALS, commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. Robert lost his battle with ALS in 2004, and Phil promised to Robert that he would make sure his daughter, Dominique, who was 9 at the time, would have her college paid for. Phil's promise began with a fundraiser in 2003, the Robert Luongo ALS Fund, to help with her education and helping local ALS victims with expenses as they go through this tough road with this horrible disease. Whereas, on January 18, 2024, the Robert Luongo ALS Fund will be hosting its 20th annual dinner at Nanina's in the Park with over 600 guests. The Luongo ALS Fund has raised over $1 million. Yeah, give that a round of applause. For $1 million for research and to help victims that are suffering financially and to help with any medical expenses they cannot pay. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mayor and Municipal Council of the Township of Belleville do hereby proclaim January 18th this year and every year moving forward to be Phil Cuzzy Day in Belleville.
Phil Cuzzy Day, motherfucker.
Every day is Phil Cousins.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now we're going to bring up, we have the very Reverend Cavaliere Thomas Nicastro from St. Mary's Church in Nutley, the pastor of St. Mary's, to give the invocation, and then we could eat.
Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. God, our Heavenly Father, giver of every good gift and blessing, we call upon you this evening as we come together once again to raise funds and community awareness for the Robert Luongo ALS Fund. We ask your blessing upon his family, upon Phil Cuzzy, who began this fund and has overseen this cause for the past 20 years with enthusiasm, passion, selflessness, and dedication. We ask you, good Lord, to bless the efforts of those involved in this worthy undertaking, this charitable endeavor that has brought this local to community together for the past 20 years. In itself is a great accomplishment. We ask you to bless the efforts of all those here present because of the effects of this horrible disease, popularly called Lou Gehrig's disease. And many dedicated people have been working together and continue to help several other families in this community. Bless the researchers, the doctors, and the international research team. We ask you to bless Phil's leadership and his guidance. Bless all those present who work toward this worthwhile cause and this charitable giving each year. O Lord, we ask you lastly to bless the food and friendship we share, and may your blessing remain with us so that we may accomplish what is right and good in your eyes. We ask this through Christ our Lord, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Buon appetito.
Thank you, Father. I forgot, first table paid. Eddie Entolin, first table paid.
We're going to have just a little fireside chat here with New York Giants quarterback Dominique Luongo. So, one of the best stories I heard about you, and this is not, beating the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. That was a good one. A couple weeks later, you were Christmas shopping with your mother at the mall, and you met a woman by the name of Dee Dee Sims. Her husband's name is Spitto. And she came up to you guys. What was that whole conversation like? What did she ask you? Tell me the little story, because I heard her son Matt tell the story.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was shopping all the time with it. They bring you in Marcus to a lot of Christmas shopping. And someone goes, "Cutlets? Is that you?" And I kind of started laughing. Yeah. Like, I love your mother. Like, she's here. I was like, she's over there. Go talk to her. And I was kind of the boat down there. So it was a lot of fun. It was nice meeting her. Obviously, I know her husband is and her son. So I've met through Bosco. So it was a fun experience.
I think that could only happen in New Jersey with one NFL franchise where Phil Sims, his wife, said, "Are you cutlets?" And that would only happen in a New Jersey mall, right? No other team in the country. So you mentioned you went to Don Bosco, of course, grew up in Cedar Grove, went to Don Bosco. That's where Matt Sims went as well. I live in Cedar Grove now. I moved from Nutley to Cedar Grove. And wherever you go, Tommy, there's a ball field. There's a football field. There's a baseball field. And I always see young kids playing. I know down Bradford, you've got Panther Field. And when you see all those kids out there right now, they want to be like Tommy DeVito. When you see those kids and when they meet you, what's that like for you, Norm?
It's a lot of fun. I was looking back at her stuff that little kid wants.
These kids flood your autograph sessions. What do they say to you?
They just keep yelling Tommy Fellas.
Did you have to explain to any of your teammates like what chicken cutlets were?
Yeah, it was, we'll be blessed there, chicken tenders.
Tommy, you had a lot of celebrity, a lot of attention, happened really, really fast. What was the best part of it?
The back. Just having the smallest town of Cedar Grove and the surrounding towns of this area, Essex County, Shelbyville Lemons, 4-H, we live 10, 12 minutes from the stay here, and it's everything that is peak is unreal. So just the support, my wife, myself, my family, my heart, everybody's, it meant the most to me.
What's the off season look like for you now?
I'm about to go somewhere warm. I always get my tan back together. Go enjoy down Sun and Florida for a little while.
And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your parents. And you've been doing some commercials with Mom. I mean, do you ever think you've been doing these commercials and stuff like with Mom? And what is that like with your mother, Lexi?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. She was a little nervous at first because she never really run a camp from kind of just doing the deal right now. At first, she will need to work, but now she's taking over. Those crazy weird things that all new fan base record audio, but my parents are great. My brother's been great, helping me throughout here. And can ask for that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight for the little fireside chat. And Tommy, Tommy, to do our amazing battle.
All right, guys, ready? Everybody hand up, ready to go. 1, 5, 10, 50, 100. 150, 200. Right down. 250, 300. 350, 400. I got 450, 500. I got 15 right here. 2,000, 1,600. 2,000, is that right? 2,000 right here. 2,000 going once. 2,000 going twice. Sold to the spirit right here. Okay, guys. Shh. Joe Namath is a friend of mine. This is donated. Phil gets stuff that I can't even fathom. The people come out of the woodwork because they know everything's for ALS, and that Phil and his team do such an amazing job. So I'm going to start the bidding at 100. Who's got 100, 100, 100? Come on, guys. Open your hearts, open your wallet. We got 100 here. Well, it's a Joe Namath. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I keep on telling Phil. For months I've been telling him how excited I am. It's a Joe Namath hand-signed jersey with the number 12. He puts the X because he's no longer number 12. His playing days are over. Hall of Famer, third-party authenticated. Just so you know, I'm in the business. The framing alone's worth about $700. Just the framing. With the jersey, this is a $1,500 item. So that's the jersey I'm going to get done for your son. So, all right, we're at 100. Who's got 200, 200, 200? Back there, 300? I got 300. Who's got 4? We're looking for 400. Guys, anybody raise their hand? We got it. 400 right here. 500 right there. Who's got 6, 6, 6? 6, 6? You got 6? No, we're at 5. We're at 5. Who's got 6? 6 all the way in the back. Where is it? Raise your hand high. Yell. Who's got 600? All right, all the way in the back. We got 6. Who's got 700? That's a steal. We got 7. We got 700. 800? 800 where, Lindsay? 800 over here. Who's got 900? 900. 1,000? $1,000 over in the back. 1,000. 1,100? 1,100. It's for charity. It's for ALS. Who got 1,100? Who's got 1,200? You got 1,100 go once. $1,200. All right, baby. ALS. Open your hearts, open your wallets. 1,200. Charity. Charity. 1,100 go once. I'm looking around the room. Coney, a lot of bidders. 1,100 going twice. Give this man a round of applause. $1,100. Folks, shh. I need everyone's attention. This is the perfect suite. Lindsay, you and your dad are going to be in. Okay? Larry, this is the one, that's the view. David's suite. Shh. I got 3 more lots. Guys, David Cohn, guys, I need everybody's attention because I don't want to say something and then you don't hear me correctly. Thank you. So David Cohn obviously is one of the perfect game pitchers, the last one to do it in the 20th century. Let me just tell you how rare this is. I don't want to go too long, but there's 320-something perfect game, no-hitters. Shh. They say a perfect game is not only the hardest feat in baseball, but maybe the hardest feat in all of sports. In the history of the game, there's 24. That's it. 24. Okay? David, they love the perfect game, the Yankees and David Cohn, so much that the luxury suite at the stadium behind home plate is called
The Perfect Suite.
The Perfect Suite. So here it is. So I'm involved with the Perfect Suite. David's best friend he runs it, and he couldn't be here tonight. The death of the family, but gracious enough to allow us to have 2 tickets. Now listen, it's right behind home plate. It's one of the, if not the best locations in the stadium. It's indoor-outdoor seating. It's private bathroom, couches, shh, two seats. They're $1,500 a ticket, by the way. Hold on a second. It gets better. Now, we have an athlete come in for an inning, a former athlete, okay? Depending on the date, the only stipulation is no premium games. No premium games. But I'll give you my card. You'll call me up. I'll try to be there that day, but definitely a retired athlete's going to come in for an inning, talk baseball, take pictures. It's as bucket list as it gets. Now, open bar, full-time bartender Rick. He's been with us since 2009. Presidents have been in the suite. I was hugging it out with Jimmy Fallon when they won the World Series in 2009. True story. So everybody's been in there. David will tell you, it's just so star-studded. But not only open bar, but all you can eat. Phil says, I don't want to put this into this. Shh. I don't mean to shush you guys, but I want to make sure everybody hears how great this is. I don't even want to put this in the description in case the food isn't that good. It's not just the regular ballpark food. All of that's there. The pizza, the chicken wings, the pretzels, hot dogs, hamburgers, everything. But then we bring lobster roll sandwiches, my daughter's favorite. Sushi, filet. It's so over the top that even if, I dare to say, I know there's a lot of Yankee fans here, even if the Yankees don't win, you walk out and you're smiling ear to ear, and whoever you brought with you is thanking you for the rest of your life, okay? It's a $3,000 package. You'll give me your parameters, so you'll say, Ken, I only could go in August, or Ken, I could only go on Thursday nights, or Ken, I could only, or me or Phil, I could only go on weekends. I'll give you 3 dates. We've been doing this for 35 years. We always satisfy. Coney, do we always satisfy?
Yes, we'll find a way.
We'll find a way. Okay, guys, I'm telling you that it's off the charts fantastic. I'm starting this with $300. It's a $3,000 package, 2 tickets. It's the bucket list of a lifetime. Who's got 300, 300, 300? Who's got 300? We got 300 here. We got 400 here. Who's got 500? $3,000 package. I got 500 back there. 600, 600. 2 sweet 600 back there. Lindsay Berra and her father Larry are going on David to the suite. We got 600 in the back. Who's got 700, 700? It's on me, David. Who's got 700, 700, 700? 700 in the back. 700 in the back. 800, 800 over here. 900, 900 back there. 900, 1,000 back there. 1,100, 1,100. 1,200. We got 1,200 over here to the left. 1,200 in the back. All the way in the back. 1,200. Sir. 1,300. I love this guy. I love this guy. That's my man right there. Doc, that's the man, Doc, right there. 1,300. Stand up. He's got 1,300. Who's got 1,400? 1,400. Who's got 1,400 in the back? 1,500. Wait, hold on, guys. We're at 1,500. Hold on 1 second. What did you say, Phil?
Sharippa would love to go.
Hold on 1 second. Are you guys? Shh. We're at 1,500. Phil just blew my mind. I've been doing this for 35 years. I've been with everybody. I'm not bragging. I'm just blessed. One of the guys I'm dying to meet, and he couldn't make it here tonight, but he just called in. Steve Shrippa. Bobby Bacala from The Sopranos, and he's in Blue Bloods. Anthony, one of my favorite characters in Blue Bloods. I watch every episode. Just said The day the winner goes to the suite, he'll be there with his guest. All right? So now we got to open it up even further. All right? So not only will there be a private Yankee in there, but Bobby Bacala is going to be there also. So we're at 1,500. Who's got 16? 16, 16, 17, 17. Who's got 18? We're looking for 18. 18 over here. 2,000 in the back. 2,000. I know my man's got 2,000. I know my man's got 2,000. Are you waving a white flag? Or you got 2,000? I got 18, 2,000. 2,000. I got 2,000. 2,100. Who's got 2,100? 2,100. 22. 22 to the Coney, I'm going to lose my voice. 2,200. 2,200 to the left. 23. 2,300. 2,200 to the left going once. 2,200. Steve Stripper's in the suite with you. 2,200 going twice. All set, all done. Sold to the man in the back, 2,200. Whew. All right. Guys, you have to understand, shh. I got 3 more lots. I'll lose my voice for a crowd this great and for a cause that's this much better. So guys, listen. The last one of these I did sold for $14,500. The American Foundation for the Blind. I could show you the video. I went on stage with Otis Anderson. If anybody has never seen Otis do a live auction, he's better than me. I bow to the man, to the master. But let me explain to you what this is. Shh. There's one of these. Guys, you listening? Tommy, this is what you're getting. So I know you were like, who the hell is this guy? I'm having my artist paint one of these for you. It's on your mom. She said it's on her. 0 cost, but you got to sign it. You're keeping it. Okay. So guys, this is hand signed by Lawrence Taylor. It's hand signed by hand painted by my artist. I've been exclusive with him for 25 years, Do-SO. There's one of these on the planet. Over the summer, some of you guys might remember Tony Saragusa. He was a state champ wrestler in New Jersey, went on to win the Super Bowl with the Ravens. He died all of a sudden last June. And they asked me to do his tournament in July, his first golf tournament. One of these signed by Tony, I donated my artist's artwork, sold for $30,000, just to give you an idea. So here's what you got to get. It's not only signed by Lawrence. This is the only one on the planet. There's one. This is it. All right? I have it up on my site for $15,500. It's going to sell here for whoever the highest bidder is. Okay? I'm starting it off at $500. Guys, there's one in the world. A LT jersey alone sells for $600. I got $500 in the back of the room. Okay. Who's got $700? Looking for $700, $700, $700. $700 over there. God, dude, even if you don't win, just the fact that you're bidding, it's amazing. I got Tommy's got 1,000. I got 1,000 with Tommy, who's got 1,500. It's a $15,000 jersey. Who's got 1,500, 1,500? Tommy wants it. I got 1,500. Tommy's, you can't outbid yourself. Tommy's got $2,000. Tommy's got $2,000. All right, 20 guys. Excuse me. Is that your hand? Is he bidding? No, he's not bidding. Next person that raises their hand for any reason is a bid. I'm looking for 2,200. Looking for 2,200. 2,200. ALS guys, open up your hearts. Open up your wallet. We're at 2,000. Who's got 2,200? 2,200. One in the world. One in the world. $2,200. Oh my goodness. I wish I could bid on this one. At that price, it's a steal. Who's got 2,200? It costs the artist more to paint than that. I got 2,000 going once. You got 2,200 in the back? 2,200? Okay. Tommy, 25? 25, 2,500, Tommy. I told him that my daughter went to IHA, and she said he's younger than me. 2,500, $3,000, $3,000. We got $3,000 in the back. He wants to say he outbid Tommy Cutlets. I got $3,000 in the back. 3,200, Tommy. I got $3,000 going once. Guys, it's a $15,000 jersey. One in the world. $3,000 going twice. Give this man a round of applause. $3,000. Derek. Folks, I've done 30 sightings with Derek. Shh. David, Coney will tell you how generous he is when it comes to charity. So I said to Phil, I'd love to get involved. The fact that your whole family is involved and you guys don't take $1, all the money goes to ALS, it's unheard of. Coney has a foundation also, and same type of thing for Lou Gehrig's disease. It's unheard of. The amount of time, effort, energy that goes into this night, the fact that all you guys show up, it warms my heart. I'm going to go home tonight. I'm a big man. I will cry like a baby that you guys were so generous and so giving. It's amazing. Anyway, shh. I had this hand painted by my artist. There's one in the world. That's after he hit his 3,000th hit. But then Phil went to Derek and asked him if he would sign it, which just a jersey signed by Derek alone is $2,000. So not only did Derek sign it for Phil, because he knows it's for ALS, it's got the patch on it, 2020. That's the year that Derek Jeter got in the Hall of Fame. But Derek also signed HOF 2020, okay? American Foundation on Blind, anybody wants to see it, I did it for last Jeter jersey signed without the Hall of Fame inscription, $19,500. Different image. I happen to like this one better, just my personal preference. But I just want to stress again, it's the last one, last hand painted jersey. There's one of these on the planet. So one person's walking away with something that's one in the world, all right? It's worth 20 grand. So now's the time to open up your hearts and open up your wallets as big as you possibly can. I'm going to start it at 500. Who's got 500, 500, 500? I got a lot. I got 500, I got 1,000. My man over here to my right, you got a 1,500? I got 1,000 in the back to my left. Who's got 1,200? Looking for 1,200, 1,200 right here. Thank you, sir. 1,200, 1,500 in the back. I got 1,500. It's a $20,000 jersey. Phil, would you mind holding this up? Tommy, are you bidding? 2 grand. Tommy's got 2 grand. 2 grand. Okay, Tommy, thank you. Who's got 2,500, 2,500, 2,500? 2,500 right there. 2,500 sitting on the bottom seat of the tables. I got looking for 3 grand, 3,000. It's a $20,000 jersey. All the way in the back. Is that a bid? All the way in the back. I got 2,200 right here. 2,500, Tommy. 25. 2,500. The guy bidding over there is over there. The guy bidding 2,200. Stand up, please. Tommy wants to see who you are. You, stand up, you with the white shirt. There he is. You want to outbid him? 2,500. 2,500. He says you ain't getting it, buddy. 3 grand. 3 grand for charity. 3,000. 3,000 right there. Who's got 3,100? 3,100. 31. Looking for 31. 31. 31. 3,000. The jersey alone's worth 2 grand. Who's got 3,100? 31? I don't want to put you on the spot, Tommy. But every person in this room's looking at you. 3,100 right now. 30. Your mom's going to kill me. She loves me because I'm getting you hand-painted, but she's going to kill me. 3,200? 3,200? I got 3,100 going once. If this room, as generous as you guys are, let Tommy Cutlet, 3,200 right there. I got 32. Who's got 33? Looking for 33. I'm ready to close this out. I got 3,200 going once. So I'm not going to say it. If you want to bid, you yell to me. I'm not looking at him. 3,200 going twice. Sold. $3,200. Give this man a round of applause. Hey, guys. Before I do my last 2 lots, and the last one is a doozy, it's the last call for 50-50 cash prizes. Last call. Okay. No, then you got the... Yes? The Golf Alley Widows at Trump Castle? Widows in LT.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Cody, I'm working. All right. Guys, I got to wrap it up. We got somebody way more important than me. Bill Lopez, local. Shh. I got 2 more lots. I'm going to go fast because somebody way more important than me has got to get up here. Guys, this is Bill Lopez from Nutley. Born and raised, he's still there. Okay? Hand signed by Bill Lopez, hand embellished. I think there's 50 of these. I believe there's 50 in the world, of Aaron Judge, of course. So Billy Lopez sells these all day long for $3,000. Everybody raise your hand. We're starting at $1. We're starting at come on. We're going fast. We got to go. Everybody raise your hand. Everybody in the room, I can't start till you're all raising. When you're not comfortable, put your hand down. Hand signed by the artist, hand embellished by the artist. $1, $5, $100, $200, $300, $400. Hold this, Phil. $500 all the way in the back. Who's got 6? I got 500 in the back. Guy to my right, you're getting 6? I got 500 going once. Who's got 600? I got 500 all the way in the back going once. 600. 600 where? 600 in the middle. I got 600 all the way in the back. 700? 700. I got 600 in the middle here. 600 going once. 600 going twice. 700. All set, all done. How much? 700 right there. 700. 700. He's put his fingers up. 800 in the back. 800 all the way in the back. Sorry, I missed you. 800, 900, 900. 1,000 in the back. 1,000. I got 900 going once to the right, to my right. 900 going twice. All set, all done. Sold, $900. Phil said, look at Phil, look at me. And I believe, last lot. I believe this. Phil said if I don't get at least 5,000 for this, he's kicking the crap out of me. And I believe it.
Well, I meant Joe Black was going to help me. Where's Joe? Yeah.
Joe Black, I don't want, well, you listen, Bobby Ches is here, and I know he can kick my ass. I used to hang with Bobby. Guys, I don't know how Phil, this is the last lot. And believe me when I tell you, someone way more important than me is coming up. I don't know how Phil pulled this off, but this is donated. It's a round of golf. 2 of you and your guest, with New York Giants stars. This is who you're golfing with at Trump National. At Trump National, you and a guest in Bedminster, New Jersey, one of the nicest courses in the world, are golfing with your other 2 people besides you and your guest. Super Bowl 25 MVP, Otis Anderson, and I don't know, you might know this guy, Lawrence Taylor. So the winner of this lot is going to golf with O.J. Anderson, Super Bowl 25 MVP, Rookie of the Year, 10,000-yard rusher, comeback player of the year, 2 Super Bowl rings, and maybe the greatest defensive player to ever play the game. Okay? I got to say, it's a $20,000 experience. And lunch with those guys. Wow. Guys, my last lot. I got to go. Phil wants me off. Guys, who started in that $2,000? It's a $20,000 experience. I got $2,000 in the back of the room. Who's got 2,500? We got, how much? 3,000? 3,000 over here. $4,000? $4,000 in the back. I got $4,000. Who's got 4,500? Guys, this is as bucket list as it gets. You're not only golfing with them, you're having lunch with them. I got 4,500 in the back. 4,500. You got $5,000? You got $5,000? Remember, I'm getting a beat down if I don't get $5,000. I got 4,500 going once. $5,000. I got $5,000 right here. Thank you, sir. You just saved me a beat down. I got $5,000. 5,500. I got $5,000. Who's got 5,500? 55, 55, 55. I got $5,000 going once. $5,000 going twice. Don't miss out on this. I'm telling you, it's only money. All set, all done. I'll go 53. Last shot. $5,000 going once, going twice. Sold to this man right here for $5,000. My name's Ken Thimmel, and I want to thank you guys for listening to me tonight.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you. David, you ready? Tina, you ready?
So this is a fireside chat with five-time World Series champion and perfect game pitcher, David Cone. But we took the fire out, David. It was very hot up here when Tommy was up here. So what does your off season now look like in between broadcasting? What do you do in your off season?
You know, it's, I guess it's the old saying, right? You stare out the window and wait for baseball season to come. But, you know, and watching Tommy Cutlets, too. That was pretty fun to watch him play. And it was nice to meet him, too. Thank you, Tommy, for being here tonight.
David, everyone, we've been talking about it all night. I mean, do you ever get tired of talking about that perfect game?
No, actually, the further removed I get from it, the more I appreciate it. Because that day was just so remarkable. And then to see the Bear family here today, obviously, and Lindsay's just amazing, and Larry, and you know, I'm forever thankful that the day I threw my perfect game was Yogi Berra Day, and at the end of the game, I threw 88 pitches. So if you believe in magic and numbers, there was a number 8 behind home plate painted on the grass because obviously Yogi Berra's number was 8. At the end of that game, I had 88 pitches.
And of course, Don Larson was there because he threw the only perfect game in a World Series. Did you ever talk to the two of them about anything? What was the discussion ever after your perfect game?
At first, I think they were kind of pissed off because they wanted to leave early. You know, Don and Yogi, they wanted to get over the bridge and get to Jersey, get to Montclair. But they had to stay for the entire game because it was a perfect game. So we kind of joked about that over the years. But they were just so great to be around them, hear their stories, and be a part of our history with them. It was just remarkable.
With all that you do now as an analyst, because you're beyond broadcaster, you're like the scientist describing pitching and the game of baseball. What does it really take to throw a perfect game?
Well, I think a lot of it's the stars have to be aligned, so to speak. I mean, there's so many things that can happen that are out of your control that have to go your way. It's a team game. There's defensive plays that have to be made. There's umpires that have to make calls. You know, Jerry and Phil understand this more than anybody. I mean, there's pitches that are on the borderline that whether they call it a ball or a strike can affect the whole at bat. You know, and certainly they're the best in the world at what they do, but there's so many things, random variants that comes into play that are out of your control that just sort of make you sort of understand that the moment's bigger than you.
Is there anything from that day you still have, a little token memorabilia?
The one thing I had, Joe Torre, the manager at the time, was great because he understood what was going on. Because a year before, David Wells had thrown his perfect game. So we were kind of clued in on it. And the baseballs that were thrown out of that game, game-used baseballs are a big deal. A game-used item of anything is a big deal in any sport. Joe Torre had the balls that were thrown out. There's a little bag of baseballs, about 12 baseballs, that he brought to me at my locker and said, "Here you go, kid." And there was game-used balls from that day that I have that baseball bag from Yankee Stadium with those dozen balls in it that were actually used in that game.
Oh, that's neat. You mentioned, I know, we want to applaud for that, right? You mentioned David Wells this past summer. The 1998 Yankees were reunited. You guys were there on Old Timers Day, and they celebrated that team. Just looking back, 114 wins. You guys sweep the Padres. Again, how has that success come together in that type of a season as you look back?
Once again, it was kind of the perfect storm. It seemed like everybody on that roster just had a role to play. Everybody understood the role. Everybody played the role to a T. We had Darryl Strawberry on the bench that year. We had Homer Bush, who was a rookie second baseman who came off and stole bases at will off the bench. We had Tim Raines, who was a Hall of Famer, that came off the bench in that team. So 1 through 25, the entire roster knew the roles, and everybody embraced the roles, and everybody excelled at their roles. And that's really the best I could say. It was the best 25-man roster I've ever been around. Maybe the 27 Yankees were better. Maybe the Cincinnati Reds and the Big Red Machine of the 70s, maybe their starting 9 were better. But But 1 through 25, that roster was the best roster I've ever been around.
When you get together with those guys, what do you talk about? What are the fun moments? What's the best part of seeing everybody again?
I think the best part is that we don't get to see each other enough. And that's the nature of baseball and in professional sports, that we scatter. Everybody lives everywhere, all over the world nowadays, and just to get everybody together again, it's like it's like old friends, right? You get together, and it's like you didn't see each other for 20 years, and you catch up in 5 minutes. And that's kind of the way it is. It's like we're right back there in that moment, the minute we see each other.
It was so neat to see you say hi to Doc when he came in. I think he might have just left now, but everything that he's went through, and you heard him talk about being so appreciative, having his number retired. What are your thoughts on having Doc's number retired by the Mets?
I've never seen, I was there. I spent 6 years with the Mets and 6 years with the Yankees. And people ask me all the time, what's the difference? I had more fun with the Mets off the field, and I had more fun with the Yankees on the field. Those guys were crazy, but when you think about two 19-year-olds, and the Mets in 1986, 1985, those kids, Dwight was right out of the streets of Tampa, and Darryl was right out of Compton, and they were 19 years old, and they were thrown into New York City, and there was a mural on the side of a big building in downtown Manhattan that had Dwight Gooden's picture on it, and Darryl Strawberry was larger than life. And they were kids trying to make their way with a little bit of money in their pocket for the first times in their lives in New York City. What did you think was going to happen? Of course it happened. Everything you think happened because they were overwhelmed. They didn't know how to handle all that success. It was too much too soon. They didn't have any guidance. And that's not an excuse. And I've talked to Doc and Darryl about this. But it is what it is. They're great guys. They made mistakes. They got caught up in addiction problems. They got caught up in real life problems. But they were two of the most talented kids I've ever seen in my life. The two most talented baseball players you will ever see at 19 years old were Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden.
It was neat seeing them get together yesterday. We had that whole Zoom press conference I was talking about earlier. David, as you talk about this, it makes me think about different teams, and Dwight had pointed out how ownership had a big impact. When you're analyzing these teams and you're meeting with managers, who is important to the success of a team? Is it the GM or is it the manager?
Well, actually, there's a synergy there that has to work together, and I think maybe every professional sports team is finding that out. Whether it's the New York Giants of today or whether it's the New York Yankees of today, there has to be sort of a togetherness there that really works well, because you can't just have a general manager say, "Here's the players I procure for you. Here's the guys I traded for. You deal with it." No, there has to be a collective nature of the way they work together for it to work out. And I think that happened with Joe Torre and Bob Watson and Gene Stick Michael. And Stick Michael, God rest his soul, would have been here tonight. Another New Jersey guy, was great for the Yankees. And he and Joe Torre were hand in hand, and Bob Watson, and then eventually Brian Cashman after that era. But certainly during that time, it was really, those guys really worked together.
And as you talk of the front offices, the big thing now is the analytics. How has that changed baseball, or has it changed? You tell me.
It has changed. It's changed everything in life, right? I mean, look at your insurance. Look at every business in the country going on right now. Big data has affected everything. You can't escape it. So if you're a baseball fan, it's pretty naive to think that wouldn't seep into baseball, right? I mean, it has to. So certainly there's so much more information, but the problem that arises is that sometimes you lose the heartbeat of things, that it's human beings. And Joe Torre said it best. He said, "I manage a heartbeat." These players have heartbeats. And yeah, I can have the best information in the world. I can have the best data in the world. I can have the best information scientists giving me this data. But I've got to talk to this kid who just had his mother pass away. Or I've got to talk to this kid who's got a divorce going on. Or I've got to talk to this 27-year-old who is lost right now, has lost his confidence. There's no data in the world that can deal with that. that's a human element. That's a human one-on-one, sort of a situation that managers have to manage, and there's no script for that.
What do you, I mean, you're in baseball every day with ESPN and the Yes Network, but what do you miss the most about playing?
I miss what it felt like when I had the baseball in my hand on the mound at Yankee Stadium. To me, it was always, that was center stage. And nothing happened until I threw that baseball. And that feeling was better than anything I've ever felt in my life. I mean, it's in my professional baseball life. Obviously, personal, you get married, you have kids, that's separate, and that's much more important. And Vince Lombardi said it great, right? It's God, your family, and then football. Well, for me, when I had that baseball in my hand on the mound at Yankee Stadium, there was nothing like it. I would go back today and do it if I could.
You talked about the magic that sometimes has to happen. It happens a lot for some reason at Yankee Stadium. But Monument Park, when you see the names out there and you see Lou Gehrig, what do you think about when you see just the ties of Lou Gehrig and ALS just to the game of baseball after all of these years, and how everyone has come together tonight as we continue to try to fight this? I'm just asking kind of about like this coincidence, how it's been attached to baseball.
It has been because of him and because of how graceful he was in handling it. Everybody who has seen his speech is impacted by what he said that day. I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth. I may have been dealt a bad break. The strength behind that, the service. We talk about the policemen, the firemen, the servicemen that are here today, the Purple Heart recipients. I mean, there's sort of a message there, right? It's sort of the greater good, the selfless nature of doing something for the greater good of things is something that's kind of a lost art a little bit when in this individualized nature that we have in today's society, and today's sports world. That's what Lou Gehrig taught us, that this is bigger than me. And when you're part of a team that wins, and when you're part of a cause like ALS, you understand that you're in this for the long haul, and you're in this for the greater good of things, and you know that this cause is bigger than you. And I think Lou Gehrig understood that, and that's what he taught us all those years ago.
Do you ever have those moments where you thought that as you're playing there at Yankee Stadium about the ghosts and the greats that played before you?
Absolutely. The old Yankee Stadium was just remarkable. There were so many places in that stadium you could go, you could feel the history. It's like that was Babe Ruth's locker. That was Joe DiMaggio's locker. On Old Timers Day, they would come in and share our lockers with us. I would sit there and talk to Hank Bauer and Moose Scourin, and they would tell me stories about, what it was like back then and what it was like to lose their career because they had to go serve in the war. Yogi Berra had to serve in the war. He was there on D-Day. You think about that for a minute. Wait a minute. I'm playing baseball for the New York Yankees, and I've got to leave my career, and I've got to go serve in the military and lose 3 or 4 years of my career and then come back and rejoin the Yankees or rejoin the baseball team. That is just mind-blowing to me when you think about the history of what those guys went through.
The young guys today, when you get to talk to them before your games and you're preparing for your broadcast, who gets it the most? Is there one player or certain players that just get it, their place in history and the men and the great players before them?
Well, I think there's several who do. CC Sabathia got it when he played, and he's carrying on the tradition locally, living in Jersey, and certainly his foundation and what he's doing on the charity side and giving back is huge. Currently, the players, Garrett Cole is right up there. He's a leader, just won the Cy Young Award. If you're a Yankee fan, you're proud. This guy knows it. He gets it. He knows what he's doing. He understands. He's still humble, but yet still motivated. I think that's the right key, is you find the right balance between having confidence but yet being humble at the same time. That's a hard needle to thread.
When you look at Aaron Judge, and he now owns that sacred home run record, with his legacy, though, does he have to win a World Series with the Yanks?
Well, everybody has to win. Yes, you do. Because, even though you're judged individually on your achievements, and Aaron Judge is as good as it gets, the 62 home runs, the way he carries himself, the Again, same as Garrett Cole. Somebody to be proud of, somebody that represents very well. And if you're a Yankee fan, you're happy that they're representing the Yankees. But yes, even though in today's nature, the nature of today's game, the nature of our society is trust the process. We're in a process-oriented business right now in terms of do your work, trust the process, the results will happen. But at some point, you do have to win. And I know everybody gets a trophy nowadays. Everybody gets a trophy, but at the same time, you know what? When the money's on the line, and when you're playing in a game 7, or you're playing in a game that really matters, where it's win or go home, you find out something different. There's something different that happens in those games, and you find out.
Was there anything different when you won the World Series and you were so young? You've won in Toronto, and then you came and won those 4 with the Yankees. What was different? Was there anything different?
There was. I was very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time, and it's a team sport, and everybody has to do their job in order to win. But at the same time, everybody has to do their job, right? If you do your job, then you don't let the team down. The first ticker tape parade up the Canyon of Heroes in 1996 was like I'd never seen. You're riding on a float. There's ticker tape flying out of the buildings going up the Canyon of Heroes, and every side street you look, there's just people everywhere. I've never seen so many people in all walks of life, people climbing up telephone poles, people climbing up trees. The reaction we got in 1996 was something I'll never, ever forget.
Was anybody here at that parade? Oh, yeah, look at that. Look, you guys deserve an applause. You remember seeing David on one of the floats? I love that. I love the old footage of that. Do we have any questions for David? Or maybe we'll throw a few out to the audience. I could come around with the, yeah, you can use your mic there.
How's it going? I was just wondering, my name's Brendan Marazzo. I'm a student at Montclair State University trying to get into sports broadcast. I know you've been around the block plenty of times. I was just wondering if you had any advice on how, to operate in the industry to get ahead.
Yes, my advice would be don't wait. Do it. Do a podcast, do your own thing, work from your basement. Anything can happen overnight. You don't have to wait for somebody to hire you. You don't have to wait to get a job with the Yes Network or MSG or any of the SNY, wherever you're trying to go. Do not wait. Just start doing it right now.
Thank you.
Great question. And he does have a radio show.
Yes.
Any other questions for David? Oh, we got one in the back here.
David, one of the best moments I ever saw you was when you were on the pitching mound and you were ready to be taken out of the game. Joe Torre was coming out of the dugout, and you told him to get back in there, and then you struck out the next guy, and I thought that was the best moment. To me, that was just great.
Well, thank you. I mean, we were allowed, it's a different day and age now. We were allowed in my day to pitch more, to throw more pitches, to work our way through problems, to learn how to do it. So that is a lost art in today's game. I know I hear that a lot, that a lot of fans would like to see that again in today's game. They'd like to see starting pitchers go out there and throw more and have a chance to work through issues on their own. Because that's the only way you learn, is if you're allowed to try to pitch through some things rather than trying to take you out beforehand. So yeah, that's part of the game that's missing right now, yes.
We've heard a lot of good interview stories. Tell us a story that we never heard about either you, Joe Torre, or any of the players that we may not ever heard. We heard everything else. Give me something we didn't hear before.
Well, so many stories, yes, so many. I'm lucky because I played before cell phones, right? I'm in the day and the age where we can go out. We can all hang in the hotel bar. I'll meet you afterwards, right? So yeah, that was a different era back then. What I will tell you is this, is that there was a time when, David Wells, my lefty compadre, who pitched for the Yankees, he and Joe Torre did not get along. Did not get along at all. And Joe Torre wanted to sort of
either get rid of David Wells or have him traded. So I went to Joe Torre and I told him, this was 1998 too, the big year of 98. I went to Joe Torre and said, let me have him. I got him. And he had to understand that David Wells grew up in San Diego, and he grew up, he didn't have his father around him. He grew up, his mother was a lady called Attitude Annie, and she grew up with the Hells Angels. Literally, she did. So when he threw Little League games, it was all Hells Angels. It was all bikes around the Little Leagues watching him pitch. This is how this kid grew up, and he was legit. And I knew that about him because we were teammates in Toronto. So I told Torre, let me have Wells. And so what I did with Wells was, is I said, look, you got to stop going to the media, you got to stop bashing Torre, and you got to just pitch. He said, every time we go on the road, you're with me. And I would take him to a different hotel from the team hotel, and we get a big suite in the middle and 2 adjoining rooms, and we'd have a big party every time we went on the road. And he just opened up, he lit up. And this was his kind of life. That's the way he grew up, that's what he saw. 2 weeks after we started doing that, he threw a perfect game. And the rest of the year, he was unbeatable. And every time the Yankees went on the road, wherever our team hotel was, David Wells and I were at a different hotel, doing our thing, having a great time, and he had the best year of his life. And all he really wanted was a friend and somebody to kind of, have his back. And that was the key to the 1998 Yankees, was David Wells.
Quick question. I know you were in that El Duque commercial back in '99, and they asked you, do you have a dance? So I have to ask, did you finally figure out that dance?
No, I did not. El Duque's got a dance, but I don't have a dance, no. But those commercials were great back then. They were a lot of fun to do. We ran out of a club in Manhattan, actually, and we took it all day to do that scene. And the problem was Louis Soho couldn't get the line right. I don't know if you remember the commercial, but Louis Soho had one line. It was, hey, Corny, why don't you have a dance? And it took him 18 takes to get that one line down. Louis was the best.
All right, we got a good question. Do you want to manage in baseball, particularly the New York Yankees, ever down the road?
No. I interviewed for the pitching coach job a couple of years ago, and I realized at that point that broadcasting's a pretty good job. And I'm pretty happy doing broadcasting. Tina knows Tina's one of the best in the business forever, so she knows the nature of the business, how different it is on which side of the line you're on. So now, obviously, if they came to me and said, hey, we need you to do this, we need you to do this interview, obviously I would listen, but I'm pretty happy with what I'm doing right now.
David Cohen, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks to everyone, and we'll see you next year.
First time I met Robert, we were in 3rd grade. We met on a street. One of the kids said, you should have a fight. I reluctantly said yes. Out of fear, I punched him in the nose. He started crying. He went and called his older brother. I cried. When he came back out, he wanted to know who hit his brother. I said it was me. He said, who are you? I said, I'm Danny Vitiello. He brought us inside both crying. And if you know anything about Italians, Italian mothers do one thing when their kids are crying. They feed them. And that's how Robert and I became best friends, because the one thing we did together all the time was eat junk food.
I was a member of the Belleville High class of 1973 with Robert. However, I knew Robert from back in grammar school, from back in kindergarten and 1st grade.
I moved to Belleville in 1967, and it turns out that Robert was my first friend.
He was in my 1st grade class, and he was even then larger than life. He basically, had a personality where he connected with everybody.
5th grade stands out because We were the art team. Neither one of us was artistic, but the teacher always gravitated towards us to create whatever posters needed to be done for the classroom. And don't ask me why I remember that from being 10 years old, but it was probably because of the special person that I was, doing it with.
My very first time I met Robert was my first day in 6th grade in Belleville. And he was walking up the hill. I was walking out of the street, out of my street. And he knew, I have no idea how he knew, but he knew that I was the new kid. He walks up, he shakes your hand, I'm Robert. I walk up this way every day. I'll meet you here on the corner, we'll walk up. I mean, like I said, no, you don't do that when you're in 6th grade.
Robert was one in which always looked after everyone else, always cared about everybody else.
He had asked me, hey, you want to be our, back then it was water boy, and I said, yeah, no problem. And no matter where we went to that season, Robert always made sure that I was safe, because we went into some crazy towns, and whether I was on the team bus or the Board of Education van with the right guys, he always looked after me.
Robert was, like I said, well respected. He was looked up to. People always went to him if they had a problem. And in high school, he was like a leader. He was always a leader.
Captain of the football team, captain of the track team, the true leader he was.
Maybe I was 12 years old. He came over for dinner, and it was the first time I met him. And I remember what a presence he was. As soon as he walked in the room, what a vibrant presence he was. Kind of took over the room, and he brought me a gift. I thought, who is this guy? He's bringing me a stuffed armadillo.
Robert Luongo, when you talked to him, you felt like you were his best friend. But everybody felt like that, and that's just the kind of guy he was.
Robert played a really important part in my life. He was always thinking, and it was all about having fun, and that's what Robert was about. Robert was always about having fun, whether it was wrestling matches in the cafeteria, during lunch, or in gym classes hiding people's sneakers, whatever it was, Robert was always looking for a laugh.
He was a gentle giant, and everybody talks about, no matter who you were, he always said hello to you, and I experienced that firsthand.
He made everybody feel like they were part of the group, and that continued even after we were out of high school.
When I became the head baseball coach in 1999 at Belleville. I got a phone call, must have been a week later. He was so excited. I can't believe Belleville coach, what a great thing,
Every year he would give me a call during football season. We'd talk about the season for me, and how how the season was progressing for me and the team I was playing with. So he was a great friend like that.
Knowing Robert gave us the opportunity to explore things that we probably otherwise would not have.
Would say, come on, let's go out and grab a bite to eat. Well, yeah, okay, we went out and grabbed a bite to eat, and we came home about 3 days later.
He calls me up at about 11 or 12 o'clock. Hey, I'm going to take a ride to the bank. You want to come with me? Maybe we'll get something to eat. I said, sure. He picked me up around 12 o'clock on Saturday, and I got home Monday afternoon. And all I did was go to the bank with him.
When you got in the car with Robert, or when you got on the phone with Robert, it was always an adventure, and you never knew where it was going to take you or where it was going to end, but you always knew it was going to be a good time. And you always knew you were going to come out the other end better for it.
Many years ago, myself, Alan, Mark, and George Sanfini, may he rest in peace, went down to see Robert. And he was pretty sick. But in true Robert Luongo fashion, he was ordering everybody around like he was George Patton.
He was a fierce competitor in everything that he did, not just in the athletic field, but in every walk of life that he had that he took part in. He competed. He competed hard. He played hard. He competed hard, but he worked hard.
As head baseball coach, I developed an award. It was called the Robert Luongo Ultimate Teammate Award. It's given out to a player a senior who is voted on by the underclassmen. Who is the kid that touched you the most, stepped down, went out of their way? And that's the kid that would get the award because it was Robert Luongo. And I'm proud to say that award is still going on. And like I said, I could go on and on, but I love Robert and I miss him.
None of us know the impact that we have on other people. And in Robert's case in particular, I doubt that he realized the impact that he had, on the profound impact that he has had on so many people. And look at a guy like me, I maybe only met him a few times, I knew him as a boy, and still, this many years later, even he is able to have an impact on my life. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful, incredible reality.